All right, so I've had a bad week of trading. Not a terrible, terrible week, but bad. I mean, it was a red week. Last week was very good, and yeah, this week wasn't great. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go through my trade journal, and for each trade, I'm gonna show the charts first, and then bookmap, and I think I'm gonna rate each trade because the trades that I took were actually not bad setups. Most of them were good to actually sometimes very good setups. And yeah, I will rate them from 0 to 10. So starting with this one, Monday, this was pre-London. Usually I trade more Asia session, but since I was traveling also, maybe that's why my trading was less good, I don't know. I was traveling, so I couldn't trade exactly the time that I wanted to every day. So this is pre-London, about the 30 minutes before London opens. So what do we have here? First, I'm going short on a downtrend, that's good. I had this level here, which was a Fibonacci golden zone, golden pocket, whatever you want to call it. And we had a reaction. So I'm going to show you on bookmap, but pay attention to this first bounce. You're going to see here on bookmap, there was a big green dot that got absorbed, right? And we immediately pushed down, then went back a little bit higher. And here we had smaller green dots, meaning we had exhaustion, right? No more buyers. So the only issue was, as you can see here, not a lot of sellers entered, and we're going to see that on bookmap. So this is the first bounce, big green dot, absorption, because it didn't go any higher, and we pushed down immediately. Then we go a little bit higher to my golden zone Fibonacci level, and we see exhaustion because we don't see a lot of buyers. We do have a bit of confirmation. This is what made me take the short, because we had not some big shorts for sure, but we did have some market orders entering. Again, we're in a strong downtrend. That was good enough of a setup for me. I would rate this setup 6.5 out of 10. It's not a 7. You know, it's not ideal. But again, downtrend, Fibonacci level, we had a reaction, absorption and exhaustion, right? Absorption, exhaustion, failure. It was a fair trade, definitely not a bad trade. So first trade of Monday, then second trade, Monday, right after. So this was my short failure, and this was actually, I would say, I think that was a 10 out of 10 setup, and let me explain why. We had a lot more confluence up here. Here we had a first golden zone from this high to this low. We had the golden zone here, but actually I pulled another one from this high to this low. The gray level here was a level of support resistance that flipped support and then flipped to resistance. And we had some highs here with probably some stop losses here. And boom, what did we do? We did a little liquidity grab, a stop hunt, whatever you want to call it. And then we had some pretty decent volume. So that was like 3 confluences at this level, plus, you know, some more absorption and exhaustion. So first trade was here, right? This is my second trade. At the golden zone and at the liquidity grab, we have now some more absorption, push down, a retest with some exhaustion, right? Less buyers here than there were here. And we had the big red market sellers coming back into the market. Shorts are interested again, back on the downtrend. So that was a very good setup. That one is a 10 out of 10 setup because we had so much confluence here. We had a liquidity grab, and we had the confirmation with a lot of sellers stepping in. And absorption and exhaustion. Absorption, exhaustion, sellers. Perfect. Great trade. Now, where I effed up is on my management of the trade. Because I had my loss earlier, I was less confident, I had more doubt, and it did push down. I was greedy on the TP because I was on a 1 to 2, I think. And instead of putting either my take profit down here at this low, I could have done that, which would have been good. But I saw that we took these lows and then pushed back up, and I took profit. I just marketed out of my trade, took some wins, so I made back that loss, but I could have done a lot better. First of all, look where I TP, right here at the top of that wick, and we immediately went back down, and we actually went much lower that day. Excuse me. So that was a beautiful setup, terrible management, emotional management, so there are some regrets to be had here. What I do usually is I put my stop loss to break even and then let the trade take me out at break even. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take some profits because I was so focused on that first loss that I had. And that is just unprofessional, just put it this way, emotional and unprofessional. So that was my second trade of Monday. Now moving on to first trade of Tuesday. So just looking at the market structure here, we're on a downtrend. We push up here, grab some liquidity. Did not take this trade because I didn't have enough. It didn't look that good on BookMap. Now we push down. I draw this level here with this box, this level of support resistance. You can see that we go over it, have a fake out, back down, retest and fail. And we had some volume to the downside. So that's a decent trade. Let's look at BookMap. So this is what I was looking at. We go up. This was the level of resistance here that I drew, the gray box. So we have some big buyers that buy into this short limit order. The limit order gets filled. The buyers fail to push up. We range a little bit with exhaustion, right? We have no more buyers, not a lot of interest anymore. And then we have a beautiful confirmation here with some big market sellers going back on trend, and that was a very nice setup. And they enter, but something happened. Just some buyers got excited here at these lows. Fair enough. That for me is a 8 out of 10 setup. I really think like I really did have all my confirmations on BookMap. Not a lot of volume in general. You can tell, like even here, look, it's like tiny little dots. Here we have, it's not perfect market conditions, let's say, because there wasn't that much volume in the market. But yeah, I mean, absorption, limit order, exhaustion, confirmation, that's 8 out of 10 for me. But that's a loss. Second trade of Tuesday, less of a good setup, but that was a win. So my loss was shorting here, right? The first one, then we pushed up, took these highs. Now that's a better setup when you wait for highs to be taken. And I don't know how it looked like on BookMap. Maybe I should have tried to short this, but yeah, I was feeling the week didn't start well. Tuesday was kind of crap, and I missed some good trades. I missed this maybe. But again, BookMap, the volume was so weird. I never had like the really nice confirmations, and when I did, it turned out to be a loss. So here, well, it's a continuation, right? We pushed up. I'm guessing we had some absorption, exhaustion at the top. We're going to have a look at BookMap in a second. And then we just pushed out. We broke out of these lows and I took a trade here. But you're going to see that the setup's not that good. So we pushed up, absorption. We try to go a bit higher, exhaustion, right? Tiny little buyers. And then we pushed down. But I didn't have any confirmation. I entered from here at the breakout, hoping, and it did happen, of a breakout of this low. But we didn't even have a lot of shorts. So that's not a very good setup. That was kind of an emotional trade, I think, because I missed all of these good trades earlier. I lost a good setup, and I was like, I'm going to just try and short this on a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Yeah, weird volume, do not trade. I took a win here, but risky trade, low volume morning. Okay, that was a win, make back my loss, but not a great setup. This setup for me is a 6 out of 10. So it was a win, but not a great trade at all. Now that was Wednesday. Again, I think that was a pretty good setup. A strong downtrend, obviously. We bounce from this level of support. We break below that level of support. Then we had another support here that I drew. We bounce, we fail. I mean, we reject from this level, which is now resistance. We have some decent volume, and I entered from here. Weird candles here, by the way, so let's see what it looked like. And then, yeah, this wasn't news. Maybe someone tweeted, but there was nothing in the official news, at least. This came out of nowhere. And it looked good because it started pushing down very nicely. You're going to see on BookMap. Again, weird volume that day. This whole week was kind of weird. Like, not a lot of dots you can see, like no big trades. But what we did have, strong downtrend, push up, big buyers, right? No absorption because we do push up nicely, but then exhaustion here. We go down, we retest, even more exhaustion, you know, no buying interest, and a pretty decent confirmation, I'd say. Considering how crappy the volume was, that was a decent red dot for me. So I entered here, we go down, push back up again, big buyers, and then just exhaustion again. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is starting to look good now. And then just this happened. Crazy. This was a few seconds. Huh? This is not even a 1 minute. This is just a crazy push-up. I would rate this setup, considering the market structure was very nice. The volume was not great, but still 7.5, 7 out of 10 setup, I think. That was decent. No regrets on that trade, to be honest. So then we move on to Thursday, I believe that was. That was a bad setup. It wasn't a great, yeah, it was a bad setup. So in this case, 7 a.m., this was Asia open. We had a very strong drop during New York and pre-Asia. But then the mistake here is that, so of course there's an absorption zone. All these longs here got absorbed, here again. So 1, 2, 3 taps, I thought, okay, we're going back on the downtrend, at least for these lows. Stop loss above this recent high. But the mistake for me here, first of all, it looks horrible on BookMap, but is that we were ranging, consolidating after a strong drop during New York. So what I should have waited for is some highs to be taken, either these or even these, and I think that's what happened later, and I took a short after that, which was very good. But I was a bit impatient here, and I was not paying enough attention at the kind of market environment. We're ranging after a strong drop down, wait for some highs to be taken, some liquidity grab, stuff like that. Now let's look at BookMap. This is what I called my absorption zone. We push up, fail, push up, fail, and a third time fail. And then I had a little bit of confirmation here, you know, some decent sellers, but within this ugly range, like look how ugly this is. You don't want to be trading within this. Again, not terrible because it's an absorption area, we're in a downtrend, but just should have been more patient here. So we do go down and then just crazy longs come and break over this range. So this setup, 5 out of 10, maybe a 4 out of 10. Now, right after this, still I think that was Wednesday, so second trade of Wednesday is this one, way better. Look at this. So, still the same situation, huh? I took that short here, lost. What does it do? It goes for these highs. These were highs from pre-Asia, the end of New York session, let's say. And what do? We kind of take them once and then take them twice, and now you have some real volume, right? And look how low it went, and I think it broke even much lower that day, that morning. Let's see, so okay, right guys, liquidity grab, basically, that's the play. Liquidity grab within a downtrend, and let's see what it looked like. Look how beautiful this looks compared to my previous trade. We have big limit orders, sell orders, we have some big buyers, market buyers, buying into it, huge buyers here who completely fail, and immediately we go down. So what we don't have is a big red dot, right, which would have been an extra confirmation. So it's not a 10 out of 10 setup, but it was good enough when I saw that huge, you know, absorption here again at that limit order. That was definitely good enough for me. So yeah, definitely, and you can see the reaction was amazing. When you're in a good trade, it's going to go your way pretty fast. So this one is a 8.5 out of 10 setup. I'm very happy with this one. Now this was this morning. I took 3 trades. So this is Friday. I took 3 trades today. This one is, I would say, an emotional mistake. Very good setup. It's one of the setups I share a lot. I did a full video when you have a trend line. So with some stop losses here, and a lot more to the left there. And you have a liquidity grab before the break of the trend line, which gives that extra fuel, that extra liquidity, that power for the price to potentially go up way higher. So you can see this line here, this dashed line, was actually a low, which is more to the left. We cannot see it here on the screenshot, but it was a low from New York with a lot of potential stop losses at the low. And we took these lows once and then twice. We didn't have a lot of volume here. I was waiting for that volume. Unfortunately, I had a terrible market fill because I marketed right after that candle closed. That was a little bit late, and I clicked around here, but it filled me around here. Now I got quite unlucky. So first of all, let's start with the mistake. Look at that stop loss. What a stupid place to put a stop loss. I was risking like $300 on this trade. I should have risked a bit more, at least, not necessarily below this wick, but at least below this gray box that I drew. And I just put it in the middle of no man's land. That's just unprofessional, that's emotional because I was risking more than I expected. Yeah, it just got stopped out, and then it went my way, and it went pretty high. Of course, it went all the way up, at least to that liquidity level, the little this high. Yeah, very unfortunate trade. And then what I did, I shorted right around here, right after this, which was let's look at BookMap. Sorry, guys. On BookMap, let me just show you what we're going to be looking at. We're going to pay attention to these lows here, and then what happened around here. This is the low, right? Liquidity grab of this and of the New York low that was all the way to the left there. Not huge buyers, but, and again, not big volume. This week was weird, guys. We had some good volume, but not during Asia at least, and that's where I took a lot of my losses. Because I would expect here to have like some big red dots, and we didn't have big red dots. But again, liquidity grab with the trend line above here, that was really a decent setup for me. I didn't enter here because I wanted more confirmation, so I entered from here. I had a bad fill, so I actually entered from here. We pushed down immediately, grabbed my stop loss, which was somewhere around here, and then went back up. And then you had some real big buyers right there. Unfortunate trade. If you forget about how stupid my stop loss was positioned and how unlucky I got with my entry here, pretty good setup. Pretty good setup. I would rate this, especially considering the liquidity grab, 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. My stop loss should have been lower here and my TP higher here, aiming maybe for around these highs. Boom, this was this morning. So second trade, I took 3 trades today. Second trade of Friday morning. This was now a real mistake. It didn't look that bad on BookMap, but considering that we took all that liquidity, that we had some buyers, real buyers entering here, we had the fuel that I always talk about, that kind of fuel to push the price up. Shorting here, we had, I think, some absorption and some exhaustion, but it's just not good enough of a setup. Let's look at BookMap. So yeah, sure, we push up here. We have some absorption with a limit order, a retest with a bit less buyers here than we had here. And actually I didn't short this, I shorted after this. So we had some real exhaustion here because now we don't have a lot of buyers at all, and we do have some interesting sellers. We don't have a big red dot, but we have all of these. I just felt it. I felt it was decent. I was a bit emotional because I got stopped out of that trade just earlier that morning. And so that setup is not a terrible setup, but on BookMap, I mean, that's a pretty decent setup on BookMap. But within these circumstances, not great. We did take these highs. I mean, again, it's not a terrible setup, but I'll rate it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. Now, last trade of the day, that was, I believe, a win with a very good setup. So wait, let's start with this. Yeah, what do we have? It's a liquidity grab, a beautiful one. So we have a push up, right? Take these highs, then take these highs. Immediately, a lot of longs got absorbed there and got trapped up there because people were trading that breakout. And then boom, volume to the downside. And when you take a good trade, when you take a good trade with liquidity grab and with all of the confirmations on BookMap, well, it's going to go your way, and it's going to go your way fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes in this trade. That was a beautiful trade. Let's look again on BookMap. This is what I had. We took some highs to the left, right? And then we have big longs. We don't have exhaustion, but we have big longs there. I think it was like 80 contracts, 100 contracts that just got stuck up there and trapped. And then immediately some decent shorts confirming, and then boom, we just went down aggressively. And I think we went way lower. Yeah, but I think we went like all the way back down to these lows here. So yeah, you can. Again, I didn't take any terrible trade. Maybe one of them was crap, and I think it was the second one I took today. None of them were like really stupid trades, in the sense that I always had at least some decent confirmations on BookMap. I think I got a bit unlucky this week. I think the volume was weird, and maybe I should have been more careful with that and sometimes just not trade that day. If I'm not getting what I want during Asia, maybe come back during London and wait for some decent volume. But I was trading within just weird volume, and I wrote that a couple times in my journal, like just not great. But Again, the beautiful setups are the ones with liquidity grabs. This one, boom, liquidity grab, that's a win. This one, boom, liquidity grab plus all of the confluence, you know, it's a win. Like all of my wins had a liquidity grab previously to my entry. This one did not. Let's look at it. This one was the only win that I feel like almost I didn't deserve, just not a very good setup. I want to see the liquidity grab one again, because I think there was 3 of them. Yeah, it was this one. Again, you see, this one is very similar to, I'm going to show you again, the Friday, the one from today. Take the highs and immediately we go, you know, a little push up here, but boom. So my best trades, I had 4 wins, but 3 of them were after a proper liquidity grab. So that's the lesson for me. Listen, I don't mind losing. It hurts a little bit when you still have some decent setups. But for me, I think what I'll be doing next week is I'm going to force myself to be even more patient, and I'm not taking a trade unless I have some liquidity grabs. I think that's what I'll be doing all of next week. And of course, I will need to have my confirmations on BookMap, trap traders, absorption, blah, 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 you know the deal. But yeah, and what I'll be doing next week, by the way, guys, is I will be trading Asia Open from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. That's Bangkok time, UTC +7, you figure it out for yourself. But I'll be trading live every day from Monday to Friday, and we will be waiting for these perfect setups. Liquidity grab plus absorption and blah, blah. So this is what I'll be doing next week. If you guys want to come hang out on the stream, you're very welcome to do so. And let's see how we do, being a little bit more strict with our entries, more patient. And I think it can be way better if we have some good volume also. Wait for some good volume. I don't want to be trading these, that was good volume. But you know, like these area, that was good volume too. But you know, when there's not, Jesus Christ. You know, when there's not a lot of dots and you know, they're not very big, it's telling me that the market is going to move weird. Yeah, that's it for me today. Hope to see you guys on stream next week, starting Monday for Asia Open.